Hey guys, Scott here, and I just wanted to give you a quick heads up before we get into the episode. There's a possible trigger warning as we talk to a 911 operator and we cover topics like death and suicide. If those things make you uncomfortable, this might not be the episode for you. Thank you.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the NGMI podcast, or if you're new here, welcome to the NGMI podcast. Today we have two special guests. Two actually, from Chicago. Jack's home place, home state, home city.
Home city.
Always confused.
Well, I'm from the suburbs.
Illinois and Chicago.
Yeah, you could say it. But if you're from Chicago, people will judge you hard.
I know.
Well, I'm not. We have Tom, a former 911 operator, and we also have Bryan, who is an extreme Pogo Sticker. Is that how you?
Is that the appropriate way to say that?
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways. There's no correct way yet. It's either like pogoer, jumper, blaster, whatever you want to call it.
Jumper Blaster.
That's I like that one.
Can you imagine putting that on LinkedIn? Dude,
Extreme jumper blaster.
Recruiter reaches out to you. They're like, "What the fuck does this guy do, man?"
By the way, I'm so sorry that I didn't bring a second mic. I wasn't aware. I didn't know.
That was all on me.
Fucked up, Scott.
Our us pogoers, we just jump in. So
Hey!
He's got the Pogo puns.
All right, so how do we kick this off? Really, I mean, how do we jump right into this?
Yeah, I'll kind of tell you maybe
Yeah,
how I just even applied for the job, because I feel like that's just
I was
a
gonna say,
weird
'cause
thing
not
to
many,
do, right?
not many people go for that type of job, right?
Yeah, let's
Like,
just get
No.
started with your.
Did you go to school
backstory.
to be a 911 operator?
No. If you do, I'm sorry, dude. You wasted 4 years or whatever that would take. But yeah, I was working like a corporate job at a logistics tech company. Super stressed. Was working like 10 to 14 hours a day. And where I'm from in Chicago, in our neighborhood, like everyone's a Chicago city worker in some capacity. Either they're a cop, they're a firefighter, they're a garbage man, like they work for the city, and like everyone's just like, best thing I ever did is work for the city. I'm like, are you sure? But okay, we'll try it out for the little pension monies.
Yeah.
That was kind of like the main motive. I was like something secure, and I don't know, it's kind of like an influence, around me. So that's kind of how it started.
Sure.
And when I applied for it, I was like I said, I was like working 10, 12-hour days at this old gig. So I was like, you know what? What's less stressful? Let's apply for 911. City of Chicago.
You just came up with that idea on your own? You didn't even see a
he
listing?
had influence from people around him, working in the city, working for the city.
But you didn't see like a billboard for...
Well,
Be a
unless you
911 operator.
no, yeah, I'd call and be like, do you guys take job up? No, I didn't do that.
so that was your first job that you thought to apply for?
Hello,
Yeah.
911. I need a job.
Well, like I did it because I was just like, it's very hard if you're not like politically affiliated, or like if you're not working elections. I know it's like 2022 now, and like at the time where I worked there, it was 2016 to 2019. It's still very like politically driven. Like, what are you gonna do for me to get this gig?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I just would go on the website for the city of Chicago, and I would just like apply to every single gig. I was just like, whatever, try to get my foot in the door, and then let's do something maybe with my degree one day, if that ever comes about, which it didn't. I left because no, I don't want to be there. But yeah, the process was just like online application. Somehow they fish your application out of like thousands of people who want that job for some reason. And we went to we did some kind of test. I remember some background check, definitely like drug test, which like fortunately I wasn't on drugs.
That's good.
That's good.
That's a
You
good
know,
one,
that was
at
probably
least,
a good
like,
thing.
Not when you were taking the application. Maybe like a few days beforehand, but like
yeah. That's kind of how it started. It was just like was stressed, trying to find my foot in the door of the city, and that was the one job that called me back out of probably like 40
Damn.
for the city of Chicago, because like everyone's cousin and everyone's uncle's got a job.
You
Yeah.
applied for an operator job, and an operator called you back.
Yeah, they call me back and they're
the
like,
one.
"Sir, this is an emergency. We need you." Dude.
You get a call from 911. You're like, wait a minute.
Reverse 911.
Hold on a second.
So how was like the training process for that?
Dude, training process is intense.
Yeah,
I would say it
Really?
is. So it was like, you get like a giant study book, which
Right.
is, like basically when you call and you tell them something is going on, there's an event type. So it's like, this is classified in some way of what's going on. Assault, battery, person with a gun, and basically for every single thing that you can enter for an event type,
There's a response. Yeah.
how you're supposed to act for that call.
Oh, they tell you what to do?
Yeah, pretty much. Questions to ask, like clarifying questions to ask, different things to kind of keep an ear out for, or maybe this one warrants a faster response than other ones do, or obviously person shot
Right.
is gonna like warrant a different kind of response from you and like the person that's dispatching police out there,
Yeah.
as well as like the fire side that's sending like an ambulance or whatever. So I guess let me kind of explain too, so you guys have a better idea of like how it works. So I was watching the podcast from last week or this week that was posted, whenever in time that was posted. But time is nothing.
I have no
Time
idea
does
what
not
podcast
exist.
you're talking about. Who was on it? Do we have a guest? Was it just us?
At a previous podcast, you guys were like wondering like, where do we call for non-emergencies? It's just 311 actually.
Is it?
Yeah,
I knew it was some simple
dude.
number.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
it's
thought
just
it
a
was.
simple number.
When I looked it up, it said it was a full number.
Yeah, that sucks that showed up on Google before. It's just like a paid ad, dude. They're just like, call this number 918.
You call that number and it's like someone like phone sex hotline. Yeah.
Hi.
What's like a normal non-emergency? What's a normal like non-emergency?
Yeah.
So basically,
I've never even heard that. I like called 411 before.
yeah. So like,
Information.
hey, can you give me some more info about my life in this
Yeah.
scenario?
Yeah, so what would classify a non-emergency call?
So non-emergency. So it'll be divided into two. At least in the city of Chicago, it was. So 311 was like city services. So like, hey, this light is out or whatever, or my
Oh.
sewer is flooding, or I don't know. Like there was that section of non-emergency, and then there was also like, I need a tree cut. Like things like that, where you need to call someone but you don't know who to call. They'll take like that ticket for you.
Oh, that's interesting.
But the other side of 311 is a unit that I was assigned to for a while. It was called Alternate Response Section, ARS.
Mm-hmm.
And that was basically like non-emergency. When they say that, it's like it is an emergency for you, but it might have already happened and there's no need to maybe send police out there. So let's take that report over the phone, and like it'll still get a detective to come out to you and or call
Right.
you and prompt that. But like, hey, this has happened like hours ago. Someone broke into my car, stole all my crap from the front seat, whatever.
Yeah.
Things like that. Or it'll be like it could be something like, hey, I actually was abused, like 3 weeks ago.
Sure.
But I just want a record of it. Like different items like that would warrant that alternate response section.
Yeah.
You would call in, and into that it would get transferred from like 911 most likely, and then essentially we write like a police report with you. We ask you the clarifying questions, all the details. We put it into report form, get it approved by like a police sergeant. That's kind of like what that section does. Then there's a 911, like emergencies happening right now. Obviously, like we all know that number to call. So that's kind of how it was broken down, I guess, to give you a understanding of the flow.
the
of
full
all
scope
those-
of
yeah.
311 and 911.
Yeah.
All right?
See where your
Emergencies
side's
here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stuff
so
that
I
might
worked
have
both
happened
sides.
in the past, or like you're not in immediate danger, would be 311.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or if you need a tree cut.
Or if you need a tree cut.
You
call-
could be in immediate danger. There could be like a loose.
Yeah, it could
loose
be
hanging
falling
branch.
on
It
you.
could be.
Yeah.
It could be, and you need to fucking call them and tell them that.
Someone on my street lost their car from
To a tree?
from a tree branch that fell off.
Yeah.
So-
Dude, no. It's definitely like an emergency, but it's not going to prompt like police to go out there, obviously. So they
Yeah.
like make a ticket for it, and the tickets don't get responded to immediately. Like some people have that misperception of both 311 and 911 where they're like, if I call, it's like a movie. They're already dispatching police.
Yeah.
It's already coming. Like all these guys are responding, but that's just not the way it works. It's like even when you call 911, obviously if there's no officers, they're not just sitting at a police station and waiting for that call. They are responding to other ones. They're going to like respond to a person shot, and then they get another call that's like, yo, you got to come here for like a person robbed,
yeah.
So it's like some people automatically they call, they're like, are they already coming? It's just like, That's what
you're in
she
a
said.
queue.
Do you
That's
have
what she
to
said.
figure out? Do you have to figure out and prioritize like? You're already sent someone to do something, but then you
Yeah.
found out someone got shot. So you're like, turn around. You actually have to go
Yeah.
to this one.
So with the city of Chicago, in smaller towns, and I don't know how it works in LA or anything like that, but in smaller towns, the person that's taking the call is also probably doing the dispatching of the units. Police.
Yeah.
In Chicago, it's such a big city. I mean, it's just gigantic. Like, I don't even know the square footage or whatever, but it's a huge city. It's not
3,000 by 3,000 square feet.
It's gigantic, all right?
Yeah.
So the way it works there is like we have call takers and then we have dispatchers. So obviously call takers, you're literally the first person that people talk to, and then the dispatchers are the people that organize all that mess and get people to respond to it.
Are they listening on the call, or do you have to talk to them?
No, so once you take the call as a call taker, you're sending like a ticket, and depending on what location, like Chicago's broken down into different like police districts. I think there's like 22 of them.
Yeah.
So depending on where it happened, because it's such a big city, there's dispatchers assigned to that location or whatever, like that geographical kind of segment of Chicago. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
How many people are like in the call center that you work in?
Yeah, so I actually reached out to someone. I don't know if I could even like name them because I don't know like.
Oh, you don't got to name any names.
I'm not gonna name the name.
Anonymous.
Yeah, they're gonna stay anonymous. But so some stats that I dug up for y'all was ever since 2019, there's been about 1.3 million calls a year.
Just in Chicago?
A year in Chicago, yeah. So we only handle our jurisdiction, and there's only about 400 employees as of 2022 for the police side of things.
Wow.
When it comes to that. And you know, it sounds like a lot when you divide like 1.3 million divided by 400. It seems like, oh, these guys are only taking that many calls, but that doesn't like, there's probably only like 50 call takers per shift, I would say. Like, and there's admin staff, there's supervisors, and then obviously there's dispatchers. So like not everyone's taking those phone calls or whatever.
So it's probably like 180 of them are taking phone calls.
Yeah, I would say like, I don't know, probably, yeah. So
Which one of us was good at math? We can figure out that.
Yeah, it's
No,
a
not
lot.
me.
I don't know. I'm completely lost, man. I'm drunk off this tequila right now. So like,
Busier days? Was it like in like fluctuation of days? Was it like Christmas, like a lot more calls came in compared to like?
Oh yeah, 100%,
Like the
dude.
4th of
or
July.
like weekends when people are getting drunk. Is there more
Dude.
like violence on the streets and stuff like that?
100%. Yeah. Yeah, people are just celebrating with gunshots. No, it's like, especially when it came to like any holiday when you have a 3-day weekend.
Sure.
Just like,
What holiday do you think is the worst? New Year's?
dude, no, I think
St.
it's
Patrick's Day.
the drunkest. Yeah, for sure. The most like calls.
We got
to
another
911.
MIP.
With the Green River.
Yeah,
too.
they just walked into the Green River and they never came out. Like those calls were actually like most stressful, I would say. Like they're called marine calls, and it's just like when anyone's drowning or like
Do
they
you send
find
the
a dead
National
body.
Guard or what?
That is such
What do
a
you
Dude,
send for
they
them?
actually do fucking respond. Yeah,
The National
Yeah.
Guard?
Yeah, we have to
Fuck.
like notify them. We have like I did this between 2016 and 2019, so it's been a while. But
Wasn't that when the Cubs won the World Series?
yeah,
Was that crazy?
Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
everyone's just drunk and like people are calling for noise complaints. Like, dude,
You're
the
like
Cubs just.
311.
It's been like 100 years since these people won, dude. Like, leave them
Yeah.
alone. It's
I was
okay.
in Chicago when that happened. That
Really?
Was, like,
Did you
I
call?
don't live in Chicago, but that was one of the times that I was there, and like the streets were just like packed with
Oh,
people.
yeah.
who were,
Yeah.
like, walking around because like fucking the Cubs won after all this time.
Yeah, dude. I'm a
Right.
South Sider, but any like Wrigley is just party city. I feel like.
Oh, you're a Sox fan?
I'm a Sox fan, dude. Fuck
You too? You too?
Dodgers.
Oh, we'll take that.
He lives in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So you said you did it for a few years. Did it ever get like easier, or was it always just as stressful?
I think, you know what? It's actually kind of scary, to be honest with you. I feel like there's ladies there, that have been there for like 20 years, 30 years.
They've heard it all.
Yeah, and like, I think it's a little scary. I don't know if it gets like less stressful. It's really, you're literally dealing with people's lives in like
Yeah.
30 seconds or less. So that's
Yeah.
that's pretty freaking scary, But there's ladies in there that have worked there for like 25 years.
Do you think there's more female
Yeah,
call?
100%.
Really?
100% more females. I don't know if it's an empathy thing.
Yeah, are they nicer?
Or is it a gossipy
No,
thing?
I don't know. I can't answer that question, dude.
No, I think like the statistic is I think the statistic is that when people are having a emergency call, they rather have a soothing woman's voice than a man's voice, and that's been for like all call centers all around the world.
That makes sense.
That's
Probably true.
definitely
Tom's
makes
got a
sense.
nice voice though.
Yeah,
I got the headphones on.
I actually had a I got a lot of stories to tell you guys, I guess.
Can you give me a hello? This is 911. What's your emergency? But in a Polish accent.
hello, this is 911. What is your emergency?
They're like,
I'd be like, oh god, I called the Russians.
Oh god,
Wait, Polish.
how the hell did I? What number did I call? It's 911, just
Did
in
you-
Russian letters, like spelled out like 911.
when someone calls, how do you get their location automatically through your system, or
Dude.
do they have to tell you?
No, so this is. I guess I'll just like before I go into some stories, I'll go some tips for calling.
Yeah, please.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
I think that's like a common misconception.
I know.
You know, and and you would think like, hey, it's 2022. Like, why isn't
Yeah.
this a freaking thing?
Yeah, I
right?
mean, you watch shows like 24.
Yeah.
and everyone's like,
They just-
all right, triangulate their cellular signal.
Right.
and figure
Yeah.
out-
They're like,
figure
keep
out
them on
where
the
they
phone.
are.
We need like 45 seconds to get their
There's
location.
been times I've been out in like sketchy spots. I'm like, damn, like if I need to call 911, I don't even know where the fuck I am. Like, I don't know
dude.
who's coming. Like,
I would say for sure. I think that's a common misconception. People call and they're like, "Don't you already know where I am?" Or like, "What I'm doing?" Or like, "No, like tell me." But
Wait, how does it work then if when I call 911, my phone calls the nearest dispatch? Because like if I'm
Yeah.
in LA, it's going to call LA. But if
yeah,
I'm in Chicago,
yeah. So how that's based is with cell phones, we go to like cell towers, dude. So sometimes if you're calling off a cell phone, it's actually a really like you need to know where you're at because they can't just guess. It's pinging a cell tower, and like when they get that call, it might say that you're like 10 miles away from here. You know, they don't know. So
sure.
So you got to
So
at
it's
least
just
know
the
some
general
cross
area.
streets.
Yeah, at
Like,
least you
I'm
know
at,
cross
I'm at
streets.
Birkenstock and Prada.
exactly.
Good
yeah.
cross
Yeah.
streets. A lot of good
If
stories
you
there.
even have information on the store you're at, you know, like especially in big cities like in Chicago, Michigan Avenue, tourist calls, they're like, "Hey, I'm at this store on Michigan Avenue." Like, we could
Something.
probably figure it out or like quickly try to find an address.
Yeah.
So then, are
Google
you the
Maps.
one going to like Google Maps or whatever, being like typing it in and trying to
Like
find the
last
exact
resort,
pinpoint?
yeah. Like last resort, I'd try to get that info from the person.
geez, what if you send them to like the wrong spot?
No, yeah. I mean, that
Yeah.
can happen. I mean, it's probably happened many times.
Like, wait, I'm at the other McDonald's.
Yeah.
I
guess-
know, yeah.
fuck.
Yeah, damn it, dude.
I was just thinking about when I was a kid. I remember like accidentally, or like maybe it was some sort of like, I'm gonna call 911. Like I think I was like 6 or something like that,
Yeah.
but it was off a landline. So that's
Yep,
different
that's
from a
different.
cell phone.
That is different.
Because like I called 911
Oh.
and then I was like, what am I doing?
Yep.
I like hung up the phone.
Yep.
But
And
then they showed up like 20 minutes later and they're like, hello,
Yeah.
we got a call from this number. And I was like,
Yeah, that's
sorry,
totally-
Dad, I accidentally
totally
called them.
Yeah, your landline's like registered to your address. So that's how they get that info. Basically, when you call from that number and you call 911, like your address just populates as long as it's still the valid address. The problem sometimes is like people when landlines used to be a thing, like they would move and keep the same landline. So their old address would pop up and they're like, "Hey, I'm in Tennessee. How am I calling Chicago 911?" You know, and just
Yeah.
like, "Oh, it's cuz you're I don't know." That's probably a bad example. Let's just say Chicago to Chicago.
Sure. Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
same area code or whatever. But
So when like iPhones, I'm sure other phones have the thing where if you like click it a certain amount of times, it'll just like call 911. So that almost does nothing if you can't tell them where you are and stuff.
pretty much like they can get an idea of where you are and they'll probably dispatch like so say you like called a bunch of times but you didn't say anything or whatever, or maybe you heard like me as a caller call taker, I would hear that struggle somewhere in the background.
Yeah.
I would go off like whatever cell tower ping location came up and just send police to that area maybe as like a check the well-being kind of call.
Yeah.
Just to see, like, just to make sure nothing's going on maybe in that area, but that could be totally wrong because it's off a cell phone. So
Right.
there are like new apps I think these days. There's one called and like big jurisdictions are starting to use them. They're called Smart 911, and it's like an app on your phone. And basically, like when you call 911, it gives you a list. It gives like a person answering that call a list of like possible addresses you might be at or something like
Oh.
that. And it's really useful for like elderly people. You
Sure.
know?
Yeah.
that don't have landlines anymore or whatever. But like, it's still like you can be at the grocery store and like I'll send someone to your house. You know, it's not like
Yeah.
you kind of need to know where the hell you are.
Really
you know?
interesting though that like, you know, there's like the Find My Friends and stuff on the iPhones and whatnot, that there isn't like
Right.
a turn on
connected
your
it
location in case you
for
call
911.
911.
Yeah.
You know, like I feel like that should be like an option for people if
I-
they wanted it to be.
Because
Exactly.
it's like the phones not giving it to you guys. It's their fault, not you.
Exactly. So that might be something with like those apps that people use, like the Smart 911. Maybe there's an option.
There's
share
like a
your
middleman,
location.
and they.
But I feel
give
like
it
it's
to
just
you.
such a like a legal battle.
I can
Yeah.
see definitely some
You
sort
know?
of very political thing where it's like,
Yeah.
I don't want the police knowing where I am whenever,
Oh,
like
yeah.
blah blah blah. Like, but
If there's
but
just
if
a
there's
tally
an
on your
option
phone,
where you
yeah.
can just toggle it
Yeah.
on
Turn
and
it on
off
and
to
off,
where
yeah.
like if you call 911, your location is sent to them.
Yeah.
That,
I-
I feel like that would make a lot
I
of
think
sense.
it's so useful.
Let's make it and go to Shark Tank.
Yes, I think we could, dude. I don't know if it's out there. It
Let's
might
get a whole new phone. We'll add that to it.
How about we just never get in any trouble and never have
Yeah,
to worry about
Scott
calling
already
911?
gave up on the idea. Invented the idea.
Thought of it, yeah,
Nah, that's crazy.
I'm not going to dedicate a couple months to this development.
Yeah. I guess let's get into some of your juicy 911 calls.
Yeah.
What do you got? You wrote down notes?
He's prepared.
Dude, I did write down some notes. I did
I
want to
like
share
it.
some stuff really quick before
More
I get
prepared
into
than
some
us.
stories because I thought these stats were just crazy. Like I said, 1.3 million calls approximately every year since 2019.
I did the math. It's
Sorry,
about like 8,900 calls per
Person,
Per person.
if all those people worked or whatever.
Right.
Yeah,
And that's a lot.
That is a lot.
That is a lot. That's a fuck ton.
And so in 2021, 400,000 of those incidents that were high priority emergencies, they had no immediate police response.
Wow.
And the reason being is just like there was no police available to respond.
Is this Chicago?
In Chicago, yeah. This is all, yeah, sorry. Anything I say
Whoa.
will be Chicago-based
Okay.
just because that's my like knowledge base.
400,000 calls. Couldn't get a
400,000
cop
out of that
because they were
1.3
busy.
million. So,
Damn.
yeah, 52% of 788,000 high priority 911 calls were delayed in action just because of the lack of like resources.
Fuck.
Damn.
So like when people call and they like expect someone to be out there right away, it's like I wish we could, but like there's just not enough people to like service
Yeah.
those kind of calls in a place like Chicago where it's like
Yeah, there's such an
Loco.
interesting thing that I think about a lot. Actually, is like how being a cop or a firefighter or something like that, it was very glamorized when I was growing up, like
Yeah.
20 years ago and stuff like that. It was glamorized and it was like a good thing to become a cop. And now I feel like there's a lot of like hatred towards cops and et cetera, like where people are like, oh, we don't like them and stuff like that.
Dude.
Nobody wants to grow up and be a cop at like right now. Like Gen
Yeah.
Z is like, I don't want to be a cop. Like everyone hates
Yeah,
cops,
dude.
but like they are supposed to be heroes, and a lot of them are. And I feel like it's stigmatized to where it's like a very bad.
It's a-
like people are like, I can't do that.
yeah, I agree.
Do you
And-
think the lack of police is a lack of people wanting to be police officers or a lack of funding to hire enough police
I
officers?
think the funding's there. I feel like some officers just, I mean, there's a lot. I just know a lot of officers. Like some of my best friends are officers, but there's a lot of overtime out there, dude.
Yeah.
And these guys are getting so much OT,
So it's
where it's
not
draining
enough
their
people.
life
Yeah.
and like affecting them because it's just like, hey, you need to work 12 hours a day.
Yeah.
So
Kevin.
you said 50% of them like don't warrant a response. Is that like the cops don't go out at all, or is like a few hours later?
So
Delayed.
in
Yeah.
2021, like these stats that I found, so out of 788,406,000 had a delay in response. So
Wow.
it could be like maybe 10 minutes. It could be up to I've seen like up to an hour sometimes
Wow.
too.
Yeah.
So like it sucks for that person, but it's
Yeah.
like it's not. I guess the
Is that
center's
based off
fault.
priority, or is it just like
It's just like
There's
it's
no
a high
one-
priority, but like
yeah.
no one can go there because there's
Like,
already
even
so
if it
many.
is-
They might already be on another
yeah.
job.
Even
Like
if it is like a high
exactly.
priority call, they can't like go out.
Yeah.
Have you
Yeah,
ever had a
exactly.
situation where you pull someone from a call that they're already on to go to a more high
I've seen
priority
that,
case?
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
seen
Like
that
a
before.
traffic stop to like,
That's
oh
for sure.
shit, there's a robbery down the
100%,
street.
yeah.
We have to go
Yeah.
there.
Or they'll
But-
pull from another district, try to like that's
Wow.
neighboring maybe to like support it. You
Yeah.
know, like I've seen that for sure.
But I feel like that's an important message as well. It's like, you know, you might see this negative stigma towards being a police officer or something like that, but like if you want to like see some change, like maybe if you want to be a hero,
Definitely.
then like you could still go into the force and
yeah,
be a police officer.
it ain't
Yeah.
gonna be me, but but someone
Someone got to do it.
Growing
Maybe-
up in like Chicago, my uncle's a cop. He's a Chicago cop. But I feel like communities are like definitely looking for alternatives to this situation. Like you're saying how much that people don't really respect the police as much as they used to, but it's just been a political war storm for both sides. I think that communities, a lot of them don't want to call the police to their neighborhoods. That's what I'm experiencing.
Yeah.
And so there's got to be a middleman where we can still help our communities within our communities.
Do you think the
Community support,
best maybe answer for that would be to have police that are specific to certain types of things, like that are just traffic stops or just high priority cases?
So they
stuff.
like City of Chicago, I feel like has done a better job at doing that because it's such a big city. Like I know City of Denver. That's where I live in Colorado now, but City of Denver has like people that just respond to traffic accidents, for example, and for the most part in Chicago, for that, just because of everything going on, most people have to go to the station or like take down info. So like there's different, like they'll call, but we'll pretty much tell them like, yo, you know, there's a lot of other stuff going on. Just go to the station, get all the info, maybe take a photo if you really want it, you know?
Right.
Oh, wow.
So there's like, I guess that's part of the reason they made that alternate response section.
Yeah. Do you even need to call a police if you get in a car accident if there's no injuries?
don't think
I
so.
feel like you shouldn't.
No one's injured.
Yeah. I don't think you do. It's just like a formal thing, kind of probably to file something with insurance if you really want to, like, or if they really have a problem with whatever you're doing, I guess.
You can see the signs on the road say like pull off to the shoulder, exchange information, and then submit it later, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
If it's like a minor collision.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Back to the stats.
Shoot. I don't know. I don't have like, I feel like that stat was just alarming to me, and I just want people to understand that, like, it's not worth calling 911 like a million times. Some people get frustrated and also start treating like call takers like shit because they ask like questions. I'm like, they need the answers to that to just get you the proper help, first of all.
Yeah.
But second of all, it's just like when you call, it's logged and we are sending someone. It's just like a matter of when. So you calling over and over again is really just delaying another emergency from getting taken care of. Or you calling over and over again for like a silly thing like my neighbor's music's too loud. If you call about that like 10 times, like 9 of those times you just delayed someone that might actually have an emergency.
I'm sure another issue is, say like people are on a highway and they see a fire or something on the side of the road, then everyone in their fucking
calls,
car is
dude.
going to call.
Everyone
and then the call
fucking
center's
calls.
like, shit,
Oh,
we
yeah.
got this 100 times
It's
already.
like, how do we have 100 calls pending, dude, like to get answered?
Are you able to be like, we already got this call, thanks, bye?
Yep.
Like you can just
Pretty much, yeah.
Cool.
That's good.
We
At
already
least-
heard of that. Boom. We just file it again or whatever. We like. It's called a dupe. It's just a duplicate ticket.
Yeah, but you're able to at least end the call quickly and not
Yep.
be like,
Yeah, definitely. Oh yeah, the fire there. Yeah, we got that. Boom.
you don't care
See you
about
later.
the Yelp review.
No.
911
don't care.
operator hung up on me.
Yeah.
1 star, 1 star.
I don't. I wonder if there are, dude.
Is it like
You
always
can't-
constant calls, like back to back, or do you have breaks in between usually?
I would say most days it's like back to back, man.
Wow. Yeah.
Fuck.
But there are like some different time periods in
Where
that
it is
day.
breaks.
Yeah. So that's like why people work maybe certain shifts, like morning.
So yeah, that's like what you're
early
saying,
morning.
because when someone calls, like they're taking up time for someone else that could be calling at the same time for you.
Yep.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. So we have like, it was just a stressful environment, man. They make you wear like a uniform.
Really?
Yeah, dude. I was like, why?
I'm sitting in the office
Yeah.
taking
A
a phone
video
call.
call,
I gotta
yeah.
wear a uniform.
Yeah, you guys want to hear my first call
I do,
ever?
Yeah, first
Yeah,
call.
let's go.
911
First call,
operator.
first call. Last call. Closing
All
time.
right, first call. First call. So when we first started getting on the floor to take 911 calls, we got like different shifts that we can try out. You can try like the morning shift, which is hard to get because like all the people that have been there for years get that.
Because that's chill.
Yeah, that's more chill normally, right? So I worked afternoons, so I worked like the busiest shift. I worked 4 p.m. to midnight. That was my shift.
Afternoons.
Yeah,
Sounds like evening.
Yeah,
to me.
evenings. Yeah, but like overnights started at like 10 or something. I don't know, it was something like that. It was like basically there's 3 shifts: morning, midday to like late at night or evening, and then overnights late to like 4 in the morning or whatever.
Yeah.
But my first call ever, literally logged on. I'm like, oh, it's 5 a.m. No one's gonna, or like 6 a.m. No one's gonna call. 6:05, boom, call. Get my first call. I was like, oh my god, dude, answer that. and it was just like, hey man, I was driving my truck to work, and I saw this guy with a bloody shirt. Here he is. Gives the phone to the guy. In his car. He picks the dude up. What? Picks the dude up, has him in his truck with him. Shit. Gives the phone to the dude. The guy's stressing out. I was like, hey man, just calm down. Like, we already had, at that point, we were already sending, basically whenever you have a medical emergency, like blood or whatever, we're sending Chicago Fire as well. Okay. So we like link the call with them. Then they hang up. They're already dispatching someone to go out there. And I stay on the phone with him to get some more info. So he was just like, yeah, man, so I got kidnapped. I was like, holy shit. So I'm stressing out. This is my first, like, this is literally my first call ever, guys.
You're like kidnapping.
Kidnapped. So I have event type, dude. I'm typing in there, dude. Fucking kidnapped. I was like, oh my God, this is fucking insane. And I'm already dispatching, like, basically you can do like a live dispatch. Like, there's a way that you can tell the dispatcher that you need to dispatch it already while I'm still taking information. Right.
And you'll just give them the information.
Yeah, like as it goes, kind of, or whatever, right? Yeah. So he's like, I just got kidnapped. And I was like, oh my God, dude. And the training lady next to me is just like, I'm just like,
yeah, all right. Imagine you got kidnapped your first call. Hold on, it's my first day. Give me some time here.
I don't know if I can handle this.
Yeah. So he's like, I got kidnapped, and they were holding me in this room. So I was trying to jump out the window. I was like, holy shit, okay. And he's like, and this guy came in there with a gun. I was just like, holy shit. You know,
are you saying holy shit on the phone?
No, just in my mind, I'm like, oh my Lord, dude. This is my first. I'm like, I thought this was bullshit because it's my first call. I'm like, are you just like, this is like additional training? Like, what?
Yeah.
So basically, he's like, I got kidnapped. Then this dude, I'm trying to jump out the window, and this dude comes into the room with a gun.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit. In my head, I was just freaking out.
Verbally, you were like, okay, continue.
I was like, yeah, so what else happened? You know, like, we're already sending police. So, you know, like, it's so professional.
Yeah.
And on the inside, I'm just like melting because I'm like, oh my God, this is insane. And then he's like, yeah, so he came in there with a gun. So I'm like, every time they tell me some new information, I'm like sending that information to police or like the dispatcher to relay it. So like we have those event types. So first it was kidnapping, boom, send that.
And you have to type out
like gun. What's going on. Then person with a gun, this guy, this description had this kind of gun, boom, you know, try to get all the info, send that over. And then the dude was like, yeah, so the guy came in with a gun and I grabbed a knife. I was like, holy fuck. Person with a knife, dude. Person with a knife, sending that over.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I stabbed him in the neck. I was like, oh my God, dude. Person stabbed. Call, you know, like get Chicago Fire on the line again. I'm like, another ambulance for this random person that's stabbed in this house that this guy was in. I was just like, geez, dude. So that was kind of the end of the call. Like, I already heard the sirens there. They got there pretty fast.
Yeah.
But then me and the trainer lady were like, damn, like, we're not supposed to, but like, let's look that call up. Like, what the hell actually happened there, dude?
Yeah.
It's insane. I was like, she was like, she thought that was a fake call. Because I'm like, yeah, there's so much going on, dude. I was like, I can't believe it. So we look up the call later. Like, we can look it up by address. So we look up the address and like
to find out what happened after.
Yeah, we see like the police notes.
So
like
you can always find out what happened.
Kind of, yeah. There's like notes from the officers that might have responded, you know,
Right.
and they're like in that ticket that you submitted.
Yeah.
So we look up that ticket, and like later in the day, before we were about to get off of work, and none of that was true.
None of it.
Well, one thing was
The
true.
blood on his shirt.
Yeah, that was true, but like that whole scenario, that guy called in to kind of give a story of like, this is what happened, but that's not what happened. He was trying to cover himself. Basically, what really happened is him and his boyfriend were drunk on a Wednesday at 6 a.m. They got into a fight, and he just stabbed him in the neck. That's all that happened. Everything else was fake.
Damn.
What? But the guy, did a guy actually pick him up on the road?
Yeah, the guy actually picked him up on the road. That blood was the dude that he just murdered.
Oh my God.
So this guy murdered his boyfriend,
Yep.
and then he called the police and said, I was kidnapped.
Yep.
Someone came in with a
Just
gun.
because he knows it's recorded.
Wow.
Wait, so after
Wow.
he killed someone, he went out to a road and got picked up by a stranger?
Yep, this guy was driving to work.
Is he an accomplice?
Dude, well, I was
He's an
like...
accomplice. He's the fucking murderer.
No, the guy in the
Oh,
truck.
The guy in the truck, yeah. I was like, dude, lesson for the guy in the truck. Don't pick up people with bloody shirts, dude. And,
Yeah,
you know,
that's fucking sketchy.
but that's what, dude, that was
Holy
my first
shit.
call, dude.
So
And
you said each piece of information you like type out and send in. Do they ever like
Yeah.
test like how fast you can type?
they
You have
do,
to-
yeah. That's one of the tests, like when you get hired. Yeah.
Yeah, just be able to type fast.
Yeah.
What's
gotta
your words per minute?
I don't know, dude. I think it's probably like shit compared to
Mine's
like.
9.
Yeah, dude, it's probably, I don't
Someone's
know.
in. Hold on.
I think the minimum that you needed was like 40 to 50, so it's
Yeah.
not outrageous
Yeah,
because
yeah.
these tickets are very brief. You know, they're
Sure.
like they're not like you don't have to type 100.
Man
words.
has knife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like
This is
that.
And
what the
that
man
was your
looks like,
very
red
first
shirt,
call.
You know, like whatever.
was
That
the
was
first
my very first call.
Jesus.
Dude.
That's a fucking intense first call.
Quit the
That's
job
fucking
right
insane.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After I got that call, I was just like,
Put in my 2 weeks.
I don't smoke, but I was just like, oh my god, I need to I could see why people do this, dude. Like it was just that freaking
Fuck.
intense.
I mean, that's
dude.
crazy. Like, I feel like because you get these like fake stories, you'd also just like, damn, brain fart. But no, but
sure
you
after-
hear all these stories. Like when you hear these fake stories and stuff, it's like such an adrenaline rush, and you're like, I don't know what's real, what's fake, and like you're speedy up. What the fuck am I saying? What is in this tequila?
I don't know anything.
I'm sure
you just
after a
said.
while, though, like after you hear
I gotta
all
stop.
these stories, like it just gets to like a point where you just professionally go through it, right? Where it's like one after another kind of
Yeah.
answers.
Yeah, and that's like I'm happy I got out of that. Honestly, I think
Yeah.
3 years was like enough.
I was gonna ask, what percentage do you think is like prank calls or calls that don't actually require anything versus ones that actually do?
Those are my favorite calls, dude.
Prank.
Those were my favorite calls, dude. I would try like that sounds terrible, but you try to just see if it is like because like it sounds like shitty, but that gives you a break, dude.
Sure.
My
You don't
name's
know if it's serious.
Mike Hunt.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. Like you need to freaking take it serious because you don't know. It could be someone with mental illness or it could be a
Right.
prank, but there could be something actually going on. I don't know. So like
Yeah.
the way you approach it is like kind of take them serious,
Yeah.
Take it like you would any other one, I guess, because you just never know.
Yeah.
You just never know. I actually have some examples of some good ones. Like
yeah, please.
I had prank callers, so I'm a big advocate for mental illness, and I think I really think that's where most of those problems stem from. Is like, I'm not thinking about going to stab my boyfriend in the throat or whatever, or my wife.
Yeah.
There's definitely something there that we can't completely understand, I guess. Something going on.
Like, what the hell happened in your life to make
Yeah.
you
Something
wanna do this?
happened, I would say. So like I always love dealing with mental illness callers. Like I had one that was awesome, dude, and they're funny too. They're fun. They're hilarious. They brighten your day up.
Yeah.
All my friends so there was this guy that used to call all the time, and this guy like called thousands of times. I'm not talking about like once, twice a day. Literally just I feel like he just sat somewhere and just literally
And you
called.
can never like block a number or anything.
Dude, well,
right?
yeah, because what if they actually need the something, right?
Yeah.
So like you could flag numbers and they'll come up and be like, hey, make sure
Sure.
but like you can't just block them because like what if this guy's suffering a heart attack after getting excited about prank calling someone, dude? So we had this dude that he would just call in and he'd just be like, and I'm gonna use my coworker's last name because it was just fun. It's the only one I like remember that he would just call and be like, fuck you, Torres, and he'd just hang up, or he'd be like, fuck your mom. Boom. Hang
How do you
up.
find out their name?
He just because you answer like you're like 911 Torres or whatever, like you answer with your surname, I think.
Oh, really?
And that's so he just memorizes people's names. Every time you get him, be like, hey, fuck you. Yeah, he would say the same thing to the same people. He knew. So every time I answered, I'd be like, I just knew it was the prank caller, dude. I was like, oh man.
you can see the number before you answer.
Yeah. You just see like he has 1,000 calls like this month, dude. This guy's just up to no good. Like he's just messing around. So I would be, people would just hang up on him, but I would just like to talk to him. I'd be like, hey man. He'd be like, weird. You didn't hang up on me? I'm like, no, I just wanted, hey, what's going on with you? What's going on with your life? He's like, yeah, I actually went to Six Flags this weekend. Like he would tell me all these stories about what he's doing.
Yeah.
And I was like, sweet. And when I talked to him and I listened to him, he wouldn't call as much, which was super
Sure.
cool. So then when I would get him, I'd be like, hey man, I heard you I told my friend Torres, fuck you, dude. That's not cool, man. Why would you? She's cool as fuck. Like, why would you say that to her?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh man, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, man. And so then he wouldn't do it for a long time, dude. So it's just like I feel like there's people out there that just want to be heard and listened to. Like
Yeah.
For sure.
they don't know how to maybe deal with it, or they don't have really much else going on in their life, but maybe we're the only person that talks to them on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
So you say you get a lot of prank calls. Did you ever get like Scott, like kids calling in and hanging up like all the time?
All the time, dude. All the time, dude.
I'm not alone.
Yeah,
It's a
all the
common
time.
thing, yeah.
And like we just knew their addresses, so we just be like, "We're coming for you." No, we're coming to get you, dude.
Have you ever met someone in real life that you've helped on the phone?
That's a good question. I feel like I definitely have answered calls from my neighborhood.
Oh, so you might know them.
Yeah, there's old people that call us as well. People with dementia that, dude, I don't know if I can mention her last name, but there was this lady that would call all the time, and she had the same story every time, dude. And so like, she would call and she'd be like, you know what, my son, he's on drugs. He took my 1991 Cadillac or whatever it was. She's like, it's white in color. Same story. It's like she would call probably 50 times a day sometimes on her bad days. And I'd be like, hey, Mrs. whatever your last name is. We actually already have that report, you know, because everyone probably talked to her every single day, all the time.
Well, it sounds like you were like a good operator, and you did have a lot of empathy and like a way to speak to people who you knew were going through something other than just being like
Definitely
an asshole and prank calling. Like you were like, you realized that, okay, this person has dementia, and I'm going to respond to this in a compassionate way versus being like, hey, fuck off.
Yeah.
I would say so. Yeah, there's definitely people there that aren't like that, you know. And I hated that. There's people that just like get that call and they just hang up right away, and that honestly pissed me off because I'm like, you know, there's these people out there need some help, and what's that going to do for them, you know?
Right.
Like,
they might not need the police dispatch to them, but like you can still
help,
be a nice human being.
I have another cool story.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Yeah, let's go for the stories. I feel like we're asking
Yeah.
too many.
Yeah, I know, dude.
Too many
We're getting
questions
into it.
and like going.
I know, man.
Let's just get all your juicy
Dude,
stories.
here's
out.
relatable to all the people that might be listening to this who have ever been on a Swipey app, which I've never been on.
What's
Swipey app?
Yeah, just like a Tinder app.
Oh, like a dating app?
Yeah, like a dating app. You know?
Okay.
So when I was assigned to that alternate response section, the non-emergency section, I had a lady that called in. She's like, I don't know if I should report this, but I've had this guy that I went on a date on from Tinder who's just been like kind of harassing me. And I'm like, well, what do you mean by that? Like, what's going on? I'll gladly take the report, but like, tell me, you need to give me more details. She's like, yeah, you know, he's been sending me pictures of like knives and guns and like saying he knows where I work now because I'm a teacher. He went to that school before. He knows the layout of the school. And I basically, the reason why he's doing this is because I kind of denied him. Like after the first date, I just didn't feel a connection. So I just said like, hey, you know, I don't see us going on a second date. It's prompted this guy to like behave in that way, I guess.
Yeah.
And so she told me all this stuff, and she's like, he's sending me pictures of my face photoshopped on like dead bodies. Yeah, dude.
Definitely sounds like something you should report.
I don't know if I should file this report.
Yeah, no,
100%.
I know. I was like, yeah, dude. Like, yeah, you should.
Yeah.
This sounds nuts.
Uh-huh.
But then she was just like, you know, he knows that I work at this school, and he mentioned coming there tomorrow. And I was just like, okay, I mean, that's serious, right? Like, he knows the layout of the school. He knows where it's at. He knows who you teach, what grade you teach, where you might be.
Yeah.
He has your phone number, whatever. You know, that's pretty intense. This is more than like just an average. Like, we'll file the harassment report, obviously, but like we need to get something in line in case this dude shows up.
Right.
So basically, what happened, and I didn't have to do this because technically, like that alternate response section, when we get those calls, it's like things that have already happened we don't respond to. Right. So in this scenario, I was like, this guy sounds like he can hurt someone.
Yeah.
And there's kids involved. Like, I wouldn't want to take the risk in not sending police to this location in the morning or whatever.
Yeah.
So what I did was like, I did file the report. I gave her the report number, gave her information on how to do like an order of protection, which is like legal stuff for domestic cases, I guess. No contact orders, I guess.
Yeah.
I put on something on the board for like dispatch for the next shift for the morning. So they had like a police officer at the school in the morning, just in case this dude came up. We wrote up his description, what he might look like, yada yada. And dude showed up.
Damn.
Fuck.
Dude showed up to the school with a gun, dude.
Holy fuck.
Dude showed up to the school, and if I was anyone else and I would have taken that report, I would have been like, harassment, whatever. This guy's texting you crazy shit, you know?
Yeah.
Dude showed up to the school with a gun. Luckily, they spotted him, arrested him.
Damn.
And, like, thank God, right?
Yeah.
you know, it sounds like such a small thing. Like, oh,
Yeah.
people are nuts. Like, they'll send some weird stuff or post some crazy stuff on the internet. But like, this guy was serious about it, dude, and he did it. And he would have
Yeah.
probably done whatever he said he was going to do just because he got denied on Tinder. You know,
Yeah, that's insane.
insane,
That's fucking
dude.
nuts.
You know, these are just like stories that I remember, but like, you know, every day we were listening to
Something.
people getting like murdered.
Yeah.
Like, how many times I've heard someone's last breaths on a phone call, someone getting stabbed, shot. Dude, it's
Yeah.
traumatizing, man. So I kudos to the officers that like responded to that.
Mhm.
I had to listen to that. That was traumatizing for me, I felt like, but like,
I mean, either way, it's fucking crazy. Hearing it on the phone, hearing someone
was-
like sputtering their last breaths
Yeah.
out.
oh yeah,
That's
literally
crazy.
like so many times. And like, the first 2 weeks I worked, I just had like nightmares, dude. I had nightmares. I had
Yeah.
like definitely some kind of form of PTSD, I feel like, because
Uh-huh.
I would go home, go to sleep. Like, I would work out every, like, basically my shift or my like life for 3 years or 2.5 years. Like, I worked at a car dealership in the morning, 9 to like 3 p.m. I changed my uniform to the 911. I worked 911 to like midnight, and I worked out for like till 2 a.m. When I would hit the, like, finally go to sleep at like 2, 3 in the morning, I just had like, for the first 2 weeks of the job, I had just like dreams of my family members or my close friends in the scenarios that I've listened to. It was insane.
Yeah.
Damn.
And I would just wake up like every day, like, you know, on the
Yeah.
bed, because it's just, how do you turn that off? You know, like,
Yeah,
how do
it's
you forget about that?
Nuts. And I feel like it's so much more like dream inducing than watching like a scary movie or something
Yeah.
like that, because
Yeah.
you're like actually experiencing it. Like, you know, it's a real situation versus
Yeah.
it being this made up thing in a movie.
Yeah, exactly. It was intense. Like, I was like, man, I don't know if there's any therapists out there. Like, I'm sure that's some kind of PTSD. You know, for a while I had that, and I
Definitely.
was just like, damn, dude.
Were there any moments when you would like take a call and you'd have to like take
Yeah.
a break and
Oh yeah, dude, 100%. And like, I feel like what's cool about it is like that was regular for like, that was kind of, we're humans, you know, like that was
Yeah.
kind of understood. If someone had a tough call, like, you
Mhm.
let them go chill for a little bit.
Yeah.
I think another story I have is that'll stick with me is just like, we can't really give out information to the public.
Mhm.
You know, like when you call and there's something going on, we can't say what's going on because it risks maybe people responding to the situation, officers, puts them
Mhm.
in like harm. So I had a scenario where a girl called regarding her boyfriend who was like upset. He was having a bad day. He suffered from some kind of depression, like crazy severe depression.
Mhm.
He called her up and he said, "Hey, I am going to kill myself. And this is how I'm going to do it. And this is when I'm going to do it." And he was like, "Hey, I'm going to hang myself in the garage at this time on this date."
Mhm.
She lived like, you know, Chicago's huge. So he lived like on the south side. She lived like somewhere on the north side. So that's like an hour to get there.
Mhm.
So obviously she called 911. And like when she was talking to me, I can see already that people already responded to the address. And I can see that he's already dead on arrival.
Damn.
Damn. So you're on the phone with her explaining, she's explaining that he's going to do it, and you know that he already did.
Yeah, and I can't tell her that.
Damn.
Fuck.
Fuck.
Yeah, and I can't tell her that, but it's already done.
Yeah.
It's already responded to. And so
So you just have to act like you're taking the report,
pretty
basically.
much, well, more so like taking the call, getting the info, but also like, hey, police already responded there. Like, you know, I have to tell her, like, because they did. So I was like, hey, just so you know, people already went there.
Mhm.
But it was really hard for me because I was just like, man, I literally have to just lie to this lady.
Mhm.
But like in that scenario, is lying better than having her upset and
Right.
God knows what she does or how she drives to get there, or, you know, like what her mood is on the
Yeah.
way to go. You know, it was a really tough situation because I literally can see that he's dead. Like, the officers already have reported it. EMS have been there.
Yeah.
And I just have to basically lie to this lady and tell her, you have to just go in the station, talk to a sergeant to get more information. We can't really disclose this, but
Mhm.
I already know what went down. So there's a lot of intense things like that,
Yeah.
like that you
Yeah.
kind of take on, and
And then you go home feeling guilty about not
You-
being able to say anything.
you really do. Like, I mean, I've probably had thousands of calls, and like here we are, 2022. I stopped doing this in 2019, and that one sticks out to me so hard, you know, just because I'm like, I can't imagine, you know,
Yeah.
her
Yeah.
driving out there thinking, oh, they responded, everything's gonna be fine, you know, and then finding out like actually no,
Yeah.
it already was like over with. So there's a lot of, I know it's like just mood changer right there, but like there's a lot of intense things and that's just one call, you know, like you probably get like 100 calls a day, dude. So
Damn.
Wow.
that one stuck with me for a long time,
I
where I was
bet.
like, I've told my wife and stuff about it. It's just like, it's just, I felt guilty, honestly, dude, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe if we can try to lighten the mood a little bit here. So you took a lot of calls for work, hundreds of calls per day. Do you still ever have any problems picking up the phone when a friend calls or your mom calls or anything like that?
No. I
you-
mean, mini
you're good at
anxiety, right? Mini anxiety when anyone calls you on a customer call. Like, I work in techno, just like, oh God, dude, what are they going to call me about? Just hopefully no one's dead.
Sometimes I'll get a phone call from like him, and I'm like, I'm gonna pretend like I'm too busy to get this phone call because I don't want to fucking talk
Dude,
to
I
him.
think everyone has that mini anxiety when they answer any phone call from anyone. Just like, you know what? I'll just text him back in like 15 minutes.
Oh yeah.
Hey,
To make it seem like I wasn't next to my phone.
I was busy, and like hopefully we can divert it from being a phone call to just like a text conversation.
Yeah, no, yeah, I've been there for sure.
What do you think's the longest call you've been on?
One crazy long call that I had, this lady was at a 7-Eleven and she was getting money out of the ATM and someone swiped her debit card and her cash.
Fuck.
And was like, yeah, but it's like, dude, it's just debit card and cash. But she like she was on pursuing them in a vehicle, dude, for like,
Chasing after
yeah,
them?
dude. She was just like, there, dude. She was. Honestly, the call was hilarious. I know it sounds terrible, but it was hilarious because she was just like, I'm on this street, I'm on this street, I'm on that one, I'm on this one, I'm going west. I'm like, oh my God, dude. I was updating the location like every single second. I'm like, holy shit, this lady's all over Chicago, dude. She's like, then she gets on the expressway. She's like, I see him, they're right there. All of a sudden, dude, this is like 20 minutes of on the phone with her. I'm like, like, stop pursuing them. It's a debit card and cash. You're probably gonna get it refunded.
You're telling her to stop the whole time?
Yeah, I'm like, just stop. You're gonna hurt yourself, or you're gonna like run into someone. And after like 25 minutes, she gets on the expressway. Dude, causes like a 6-person accident
She caused
with
it?
injuries. Yeah,
Fuck.
because she was just tailing these people for her debit card.
Including the people with the debit card?
Yeah,
Or did they get out?
like all of those people.
Well, at least you got him.
So
Yeah,
she
yeah,
crashed
got
into
him,
them.
dude.
and
She got him, dude, at all costs.
Yeah.
So she crashed into them and caused like a whole thing.
Yeah, like 6-car accident.
Did she
I
like
think.
pit the car or like?
I think it flipped. I think it was like a serious auto accident.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Did her
Her
car
ins-
flip or?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Her insurance is probably way high now.
Yeah,
Got-
if
got
they
the
heard that
debit
call,
card.
dude.
Got the debit card, but flipped her
Yeah,
car.
yeah, exactly, dude. So it's not worth it, dude. It's not worth it. You'll get it
God.
replaced. You'll get the money back, but like, someone steals your shit. Don't
Don't
cause
pursue
don't cause a 6-person auto accident
Jesus.
on the expressway. Like,
I mean, one debit card that you could have called and had frozen.
Yeah,
and
literally.
some cash.
literally, dude. Like, I think it was like $60.
Dude.
Oh my god.
She spent that much of
$60
gas money
wrecked her
chasing
car,
her.
wrecked 6 other people's cars or whatever.
That's fucking ridiculous.
Probably had to go to the hospital because she flipped over.
Oh my god.
Yeah, hopefully she was all right, but
Yeah.
damn.
Yeah, I know, dude. Yeah, a lot of crazy
You're
shit.
on the phone like, I told you so.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, ma'am, this is why.
Did you hear her
This
flipping the car?
Yeah, we were on the line with her the whole time.
What the?
We heard the auto accident, dude.
Was she unconscious or did she say anything after
No,
she
she didn't.
crashed?
No, I just hung up because I heard the sirens. She wasn't saying anything anymore, so I just heard the sirens. I hung up.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
You know, we got a lot of good stories from Tom in the 911 element of things, and now we're gonna move on to the Pogo Sticker, the jumper blaster, and we want to hear just a couple of your more intense stories as a professional Pogo Sticker pogoer. You know, traveling the world to Pogo Stick and entertain.
Jumper blaster extraordinaire. Yeah, I mean, closer. Yeah, robot Mike. Yeah, what do you guys really want to know? I've been to 48 of the 50 states, just pogoing, jumping around. I've been all around Asia, throughout Europe, Barcelona. And we're just trying to have a good time and really just promote this weird extreme sport where we jump 10 feet in the air and try to flip and grind and do things with pogo sticks.
So I'm assuming you started this when you were like a kid, right? Like pogo
Yeah,
sticking.
my
You've been
origin
doing it forever.
story. Yeah.
My
origins-
Give me your Batman Begins.
There you go.
Brian Begins.
Here we go.
He's scared of pogo sticks.
What happened was me and my buddy Earl Pote, we went to a fest a festival thing, like a little fair where they had carnival rides and carnival games. And there was this one game where you had to like throw something at something or whatever. And I don't remember. But I was like pretending. I was like, I'm really trying real hard to do this. I can't do it. And while I was acting, my buddy stole the prize of a pogo stick and ran away. And then we learned how to pogo stick.
Is he still pogoing too?
Yeah, still pogoing after we stole that pogo stick.
Still got the same pogo stick.
Yeah.
That's the one we used.
And we spray painted it gold and put it on the wall. But that was the beginning. Before there were like crazy pogo sticks, we were just like kids, and I moved around a lot, and it was really easy to like connect to other people by having a unique talent. And then I saw online that there was a community, and there was just all these artistic pogoers and weird people making cool music, but they were also interested in alternative sports. I was like, right on, this is the people I want to be with. And I stuck with it for like 10 years or so. And then they started making pogo sticks that jumped like 10, 15 feet in the air. And they wanted to promote these pogo sticks, but no one really did it. So they asked, who has a passport? I was like, I have a passport. And they're like, we're going to send you to China. And I was like, cool. And so, I got to do a bunch of cool stuff like that. Like some of the memories that really stick out is we were doing an event in Calgary in Canada called the Stampede. And my buddy Russ, I love Russ, he just won the X-Pogo World Cup, actually, so you should check out that.
What?
Yeah, there's events.
I was gonna ask, is there like tournaments to like see who's the best poker?
Of course, and then one of them is called Pogo Palooza.
What's your rank?
My rank is now judge. So
Pass number one.
yeah, I did it for so long. But my claim to fame is that I was the first person to grind on a handrail with a pogo stick.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Dude, no,
It's fun, but we were out in Calgary, and we were like throwing down, doing all these great shows, and we have this thing where we set up a high jump bar, and we tried to jump over the bar, and usually we make it. But this one time, Russ was like, I'm going to do this no-handed. And I'm like, no, Russ. I mean, yes, Russ, do it. And so he goes up, he jumps up, going over 9 feet. Amazing. Takes his hands off. His shorts get caught in the handlebar, and then he lands straight on his dick. And,
fuck.
And that's that's kind of like a semi-normal thing you don't want to happen, but it happens. But the worst case scenario is he tore his urethra.
Oh.
The penis hole?
Yeah, the pee-pee hole, yeah.
Jumping on a pogo stick and ended up jumping on his pogo dick.
Holy shit.
Did he bounce when he hit the ground?
Yeah, he bounced, compressed the pogo stick with his
And
dick.
it went up.
And then went back up and then came back down again. But he like landed, he looked at me and he's like, Bryan, I'm peeing. And I'm like, oh, okay. He's like, I'm peeing blood. And I'm like, all right, show canceled, let's go.
Wait, were there people
Did you
watching
call
this?
911?
Yeah, did you ever get the pogo blood call? No.
This is a show people are
This
watching?
is a show that are like,
My dick is tingling right now.
around like 200 people are watching, and we just had to cut it to be like, sorry, this is a pogo-related injury that we have to take care of right now.
How's he doing now?
Yeah, he just he won the World Cup.
Oh, yeah.
Russ
Oh,
Koss,
shit.
a.k.a. Danger Russ.
Can
Shout
he
out
have
to him.
kids?
I don't know, but he can pee in like 2 different places at once.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Wait, they split it to 2 holes?
No, it just goes that way now.
God damn.
You got to pay to play, man. You got to pay to pay.
What's your worst injury you've had?
The worst injury I've had is I've hit my head a few times and like done some crazy stuff. I lost my memory a little bit. I hit my head a few times.
That was perfect. I hit my head a few times. I done some crazy stuff. I hit my head a few times. I lost my memory a little bit.
I broke my tibia and fibia, so I have this double knee now.
Oh, shit.
fuck.
Yeah. I've been hit by a car.
Was the car moving?
No.
Wait, so who
I
hit
guess
who?
I hit the
Wait a
car.
second.
You hit the car.
No, yeah, I've hit a car, and then I've also like been hit by a car, but the moving car was like not moving very fast, but it scared me. So Yeah, that's really fun. That was a good time, other than the bleeding penis.
What would you say is like the craziest stunt that you've performed?
That I've performed? I've done like stuff with fire. You light it up. I tried jumping down like 20 stairs before. My buddy wants to do El Toro, if you know what. That's like a big stair set. I've jumped... It's like you're just trying to jump stuff. I've jumped... yeah, just going crazy. There's this spot in downtown LA that's like a big gap between one part of the freeway and another part, and there's like a 30-foot drop, and I got my eye on that right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit.
Like,
Man, stick to the judging. Don't get yourself to tear your urethra or anything.
for sure.
If someone's never seen this stuff, Pogo, you're just gonna be like,
Mind blown.
It's real. Go check it out.
Honestly.
We're trying to have fun and just spread the Pogo love. I recently just got a couple homies that moved out here, Tyler and Henry, and they're like two of the world's best jumpers, but there hasn't been a representative in California other than me. I got to do a couple TV shows. I've been on like Jimmy Kimmel Live.
Wow.
This show Lady Dynamite on Netflix was fun, and a couple things with like Discovery Channel and stuff like that.
So
Oh, that's
if
sick.
there's a Hollywood agent, they go, we need a guy who can fucking pogo.
Yeah,
calling you.
it used to be me.
Oh, yeah.
yeah. And now it's the younger guys, but I'm excited. And if you guys ever want to come and check it out, we can like meet up at Santa Monica. If you guys want to try these big old pogo sticks, it's definitely worth a look. It's definitely worth a try. Yeah.
No,
We
I
can do it,
definitely
Scott.
love
We can
to
do
see
it.
it.
Scott, you got some pogo sticks at your place.
I got a few
You ever using
regular
them?
pogo sticks.
Oh yeah.
And we just do them purely for exercise because my girlfriend was watching TikTok one day and she's like, it's great exercise to be pogo sticking.
It really
Just,
is.
you know.
Definitely check this out by just jumping and going for like, if you keep up at these big pogo sticks for just like 30 seconds or so, it's like you're sprinting. It's like you're running for the whole time.
Uh-huh.
There's
Yeah.
no stopping. You have to put all your muscle, and then it's also coordination and balance.
Right.
And then once you get all that down and you feel comfortable, then you can start hucking the backflips and front flips and stuff like that.
yeah. Just like everyone that sees these dudes do pogo shit, they're like, can you do a backflip for us, bro? And
you're like-
Brian's like, do I want to die today? Maybe not, but yes, I will do that.
No,
for you."
that's not even true. But backflip's the easiest trick.
Yeah.
Front
Yeah.
flips harder.
Front flips are harder because they're kind of blind because you kind of like throw it. But
Right.
backflip, if you can do one on a trampoline, you can do one on a pogo stick, and you can quote me on that. Yeah. Like,
But the landing area is smaller. You know,
Yeah, it's
you
true.
land on like this.
but if you just go and you lean back, you don't have to take your hands off. You don't have to take your feet off. You just have to lean
You
backwards.
got the extra weight flinging you back around,
It's
too.
not even that much extra weight. It's all centered to you. You want to be like a pencil.
Yeah.
So when you do that flip and you like bring it around, and all you have to do is just get that full flip and just commit, and you got it.
Can you like stay up for like long periods of time, like no problem that you never
Yeah,
fall
I
off?
want to beat the world record. The world record, like someone's done it for like I can't, don't quote me on it, but like they did it for like 12 hours. And I'm like, if I take a little bit of acid, I can do this for like 24 hours and just be like excited because I have the muscle memory. I've been doing it since I was 13.
Yeah.
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 Can you imagine being on acid and
It's
on
great.
a pogo stick? You'd probably think that thing's a dragon just trying to tame it, dude.
No, dude, it's so fun. I've done it. It's great. It's such a good time.
So what's the coolest place you've been internationally?
My favorite trip, like overall, 100%, is I flew to England. My best buddy Mark is from Reading, around Reading, Crowthorne, and we took the Channel, which is an underground train. We parked our car on this train, went to France, and then drove from France to Barcelona. And all through the way, we met our friend who lives in Daniel. He lives out in France in a farm country who also pogos. He hasn't like saw another pogoer. So excited. Everywhere I go, man, there's pogoers. That's how I like get around. I moved to Oregon. Someone gives me a job because they know me and they pogo, and I'm like working at a winery. Come down here. Like I'm working at whatever. It's all great. But
Dude, bouncing around from job to job.
Yeah,
Pogoing.
for sure, it's such a great thing to like. It's a great icebreaker.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you got to talk about? Well, this weird pogo stick thing I can do. But we went from France, and then we drove all the way to Barcelona. And then when we finished up that video shoot, Pogo Barcelona, which was great, amazing, we drove back, and we hung out in Paris and just pogoed the whole way through. It was just like a great, amazing pogo tour.
That's
Do you just
fucking
go around
sick.
in public? Do you ever get like tickets for that shit or anything?
No,
It's like your mode of transportation is pogo.
yeah, it's,
Is that
it's
the
Sign
illegal
that said no
transportation.
skating, dude. Just like no, like a pogo stick fucking sticker on there. No pogo.
We try to get attention. Like we
Yeah.
want to get kicked out. We want people to
Yeah.
make a fuss about us and
Yeah.
be like, because we're trying to expand this and just like this is a real thing. And if more people try this, we'd like break more boundaries and
Right.
more cool things would happen.
Yeah.
I think like these like skater kids and like bike people, inliners, and everyone who's like just talented like that, if they try it and they can have a really good time because it's a way different experience.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like I love doing it because it gives me like a feel of like trampoline, but then I can also have like precision trials and bounce off walls and just
I
Yeah.
forgot about that.
huck myself. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's great.
that's fucking sick.
Yeah.
When's your next LA show?
I mean, if you want to hang out, you know, we can all go pogo at Santa Monica later. And you have access to us, man. We'll put on a free show for you.
yeah.
We'll throw down, especially Tyler, Henry, these young kids. They just want to be seen, man. They just want to be like, they got something to prove.
Yeah.
Oh,
And-
dude, for sure. I
yeah.
got you. I got a camera. I'll come out there and fucking get that pogo
For
shit.
After
sure.
this
Yeah.
pod, we will watch some videos, and you're gonna see these tricks, and you're just be like, "How is that possible?"
Yeah.
This thing.
There's this one called it's just like a crazy flip of faith, yeah, where the guy does a back flip off the pogo stick, does a 360 like full body flip, and then lands back on the pogo stick.
Oh, he
His
like
po-
lets go of it?
Yeah, the
What?
pogo stick stays there.
What?
Yeah.
Is the
Yeah,
pogo
dude.
stick in the air?
It's like held. It's kind of like thrown at someone, and then someone grabs it and like throws it back at them. So it's a two-person trick, and then you can get knocked the f out, man. It's like,
Is Tyler Henry gonna do that for Scott's YouTube?
I mean, if you get them hyped enough, man, they'll do anything. I'm looking. Hey, the one thing that I still need to see is the double flip. That hasn't been done yet. If we can get these kids hyped enough, and we get a crowd around them, start chanting, "Pogo, pogo, pogo."
Bro, that scares me though. Like I wouldn't want to be the cause.
Just
Like,
bring some waivers.
I'm filming, and like the reason that someone tries a double flip and fucking breaks their skull open is like because he was filming. That's his fault. Like why?
No, no, no.
911 called on
It's-
ex-pogo.
You're just an innocent bystander. We're not on your property.
Just
It's all
there. I
good.
just happened to be filming. you know?
No one's ever done. No one ever done like double flip.
No one's. People have jumped off it, the dismount.
Yeah.
So you dismount off it and double flip and land on your feet. But no one's done the double flip, land on the pogo stick
Really?
yet.
Sounds like it would be really hard to get like the first one because it swings over, and then getting it back
Oh,
up
yeah.
the second time seems like the hard part.
Yeah, it's just all like commitment. I think people can do it, but it's just like until someone does it, you don't know if you can. And once it happens, I feel like we're gonna see 3-4 people do it.
Well, damn! Thank you guys so much for showing up and doing the podcast. You flew out from Chicago, visiting a friend out here.
Denver.
Sorry, okay. You
Fuckhead.
lived in Chicago. Now you live in Denver. You flew out, made a trip out of it so you could hang out with some friends.
Yeah, dude.
And come on the podcast. Really appreciate that. Really appreciate you coming on as well.
Yeah.
Sick. Love to hear about the pogo.
Oh yeah, spread the word. Enjoy like
Spread the word.
new homies. It's always great.
Ex-pogo.
And thanks so much for having us, dude.
Dude, of course. Thank
Fuck
you
yeah,
so
thanks,
much
man.
for having us. So you have anything you want to shout out? We got X-Pogo logo and we got X-Pogo over here.
Shout out to my mama, and of course, my beautiful wife, Natalie. I love you. You're the best thing
Nice.
ever.
Shout out
Good
Mama and
plug.
Natalie. We love you.
Shout out.
Well, guys, if you enjoyed the podcast, please give it a thumbs up. Give it a thumbs down if you didn't like it. Leave a comment below. We love reading your comments, of course. And also, if you're an audio listener, give us a nice review for some Pogo 911
Yeah.
masterpieces over here, storytelling.
Yeah.
And thank you so much, Tom and Bryan, for coming on. If you have anything else that you want to plug, if you anything
Yeah.
else you want to say,
Last thing I gotta say, look at dude. I commented, I liked and subscribed, and you know what? I made it on the podcast,
where he
baby.
is.
So if you do that,
Could
who
be
knows?
yo, be like Tom.
Yeah.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
I guess we didn't say Tom came on the podcast because he commented on a video. He's like,
really?
"Have me on,"
Literally.
and I messaged. I was like, "Okay."
Yeah, Jack's
Just like-
crazy enough. He'll
Yeah,
bring
well,
anyone.
there was another video that was a little eerie, and I was like, dude, I'll do this shit for free, man.
Yeah, it was the Davo podcast. Davo. Sorry.
Bravo, dude.
Javo.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. NGMI. Out. That was it.
All right, thumbnail faces. Look shocked, like we just heard a crazy 911 story.
Wait, I'm the one telling it, so.
Yeah, you're telling it.
What? No fucking. Are you fucking kidding me? No.
Yes. Yes.
All right, that's good.